Start the meeting. In high school. In Waco, and there who is our, and so, if we're connected or my over for us. Go ahead and call the meeting.
Shay, we're just getting every other word, unfortunately.
Then I'm gonna hide.
Did you say you're gonna let Alex take over? Okay. Okay. All right, Alex.
Okay, we ready?
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna call this meeting to order at 4:01 p.m. Gonna have a gavel of some sort. Gonna move to number 2 on the agenda, the declaration of organizational stated mission and purpose, which I don't have in front of me. Shay, do you have that in front of you? Because I don't. Okay, good. Is it in the book?
It is somewhere, but
You need to declare whether you have a quorum or not.
we do have one.
Yeah, because we have people on there. I think we do. Yeah. What page is it? Oh, Article 2. Okay, so we're gonna read the Declaration of Organizational Stated Mission and Purpose. So the purpose of this nonprofit corporation shall be to promote, market, and sell convention and tourism-related business in the Nacogdoches area, to further the promotion of tourism and publicity for the area, and to promote Nacogdoches as a tourist destination throughout the state, regionally, nationally, and internationally. Okay, so moving on, the approval of the minutes. Did everyone have an opportunity to look at the minutes provided for you in your book? I'm gonna go ahead and take a look real fast. And then whenever you're ready, I will entertain a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve the minutes as they stand.
Do I hear a second? So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Fantastic. All right. Moving on, I'm gonna go ahead and run through the financials real quick with Cheryl, and then move on.
Y'all should have gotten a copy of if this is the final end of the year for our previous fiscal year ending September 30th. And we have money, so that's a good thing. We have money left at the end of the year. So the income exceeded the expenses.
That's good.
I'll be glad to answer any questions if you have anything specific. We've got to look at next year's budget in light of the fact that we had extra, but understand that some of this extra, not all of it, but a chunk of this extra came from one of the OYO properties on South Street that was sold, and during the closing, they took in about a year's worth of hot tax receipts that they had not paid.
It's also important noting that we have had a partial staff for pretty much most of 2023. Actually, it's not all of 2023 because Joanna left at some point. So anyways, just want everyone to remember that. But a lot of that money is coming from brick sales, merchandise sales, and more than expected hotel occupancy tax.
Fantastic.
Any questions?
Our total was what?
It's at the bottom, the 264, 543.
The excess of unrestricted revenue.
So, is that normal, abnormal?
No, abnormal.
That's a
Very
lot more than.
It's a
we-
combination of more income, mostly hot tax. We did have increase in merchandise and brick sales, but percentage wise, it's mostly a lot of extra hot tax.
From
And-
from that one hotel.
No, we had extra from everybody across the board. Fredonia started, they have an exemption up to a certain amount, and they started paying earlier than they did the previous 2 years, which means they're doing better. And I think all the hotels.
I was gonna say, some people are probably paying, but they haven't. Or Probably.
I can't say.
I can't say that for sure. I don't really know, because we just get one big chunk, so,
Right.
every month. But it's also a combination of reduced expenses, because Joanna was gone in January, and then we lost Sherry in June.
Mhm.
So the fiscal year goes from October 1st to September 30th, so they weren't all gone the whole time, but staggering all of that. So reduced payroll, which is our biggest expense, and increased income, ergo net profit.
Perfect storm.
And we will have that to roll into next year, so I mean,
Yeah.
in the bank.
And we are gonna talk about the budget in just a few agenda items.
Exactly.
So nobody comes to place.
It's not easier.
That haven't yet. Not in my,
Now that we have it.
well, they get these reports too, so.
All right. Any other questions for Cheryl? Comments, concerns? Anyone online? Shay? I can't hear.
She can't say it.
Okay, no, okay, good. Let's make sure they can hear us. Okay, all right. Next up.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
As a member,
Let Taylor read the.
Okay.
as a member of, you want to sit down?
Yeah, we can wait. Give her a second. No, it might take a minute. Go ahead. Okay, yeah.
As a member of the search committee, I make a motion to recommend the postponement of the search committee's recommendation to hire a CDP director in light of the fact that we are planning to form an ad hoc committee to discuss the CDP structure.
So
The city.
you're moving line number 9 up is what you're,
Yes,
the first recommendation.
yes.
Okay, so you're making a motion to move line item number 9 up in the agenda to under financials. So now that is actually number 5. That way we can get that done and over with and discuss that. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. So did we need to have any, Shay, did you have anything to say about the search committee recommendation?
Do we need to vote on the item up?
She said we can make a motion to vote on this one, because I made a motion.
Okay, yeah. So,
Wait a second.
yeah, so you made the motion. Do we need a second? Larry seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Oh, discussion, I'm sorry. Hello.
Apologies.
No, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
I recommended to put on discussion too, if you wanted to. I didn't hear that.
It's okay. We'll just wait for Rick to do that.
So like reiterate what you said.
Yeah. Okay, so for everyone who just arrived, we have,
I made a motion.
made a motion to move number 9, line item number 9 on the agenda, the search committee recommendation to hire the CVP director up, mainly because I can't be here the whole time, and so we wanted to talk about it and get it out of the way early and get that done. And so made the motion to move it up. All those in favor said aye. And then we were at the opposed and then discussion. So,
Discuss.
You're supposed to discuss.
well, sorry, okay. Any discussion before we vote on that? Okay, so all those in favor say aye for moving line item number 9 up to under financials. All those opposed. Great, the ayes have it. So that is now number 5. Shay, go ahead.
I was gonna say, as we have here, want to make postpone the hiring of the CDP after the ad hoc their work.
Yeah, so,
Should I repeat what you said? Okay, I made a motion as a member of the search committee to postpone the recommendation of search committee's recommendation to hire a CDP director in light of the fact that we will, we're looking at 7, but that we plan to form an ad hoc committee to look at the CBD structure of the city of Nacogdoches.
Yes. So. Made a motion. Any discussion?
Did three of us miss something before we walked in on this topic?
No, so we moved agenda line item 9 number up, and that's what everybody just voted
Right.
on, so that way we can talk about it now.
But now we are saying we don't.
So now the recommendation from the search committee is that we postpone the discussion of the hiring of the CB director until the ad hoc committee is formed and creates their recommendation about how to move forward in the structure of the CB.
Okay, so how are we, that will take some time, so how are we going to, maybe this comes along with hiring somebody else to help with what else is going on? So how are we gonna approach this without a director? While we wait on this?
Great question. Shay, any ideas? Or go ahead.
If I may, I don't think we need a director to appoint the ad hoc committee. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying we're gonna have to have a committee. We're not gonna vote on the director until this committee comes back with
Correct.
agreement on the CBB structure.
Correct.
So I'm assuming that's going to take some time.
We have a member correct?
It'll just
In a row.
continue.
It'll just continue the way it is
It'll
currently.
continue.
Yes,
So-
yeah. So until the ad hoc committee comes back with their recommendation about how we should proceed within the structure and the city of and everything, then we're just gonna continue going on as we are currently. Yeah, with Ashley as the interim and everyone else where they're at.
Okay.
Yeah. So. Any other discussion or questions?
Did we have a second?
We didn't.
Can I ask one more question?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So with this changes, I just lost my train of thought. With the change of the CBB structure, potentially also change the board structure. Or that, is it just the hiring of?
I think it's just the
people?
hiring of people, as far as I'm concerned, yes, yeah. We haven't gotten to that because the ad hoc committee hasn't
Right,
convened yet, I
okay,
believe,
so
so,
more to come.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
This is all exploration right now.
Mhm.
What we noticed is that there were several inconsistencies between all the various documents, between our articles of incorporation, our bylaws, and these agreements we have with the city. We need to get everything so it's on. the same
And we have an agreement with the city that expires this month. It's supposed to be going to council for renewal on November 7th. But because of it not matching our bylaws, the way that Philip just stated, it needs Shay and, well, mainly Shay would like us to all look at it and make sure that we're moving in the right direction. And we need all of those documents to be in line because right now they're contradicting each other.
I totally appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
And, I will second the motion. So, yes.
Thank you. Larry seconds the motion. All those in favor? Yeah.
Aye.
Okay. All those opposed? Nay? Ayes have it. Thank you very much. Appreciate that, guys. So then that moves us on to the new number 6, which is the discussion regarding employment agreement with the city of Nacogdoches.
This agreement.
Shay, should I just call you and you mute yourself?
Call me.
Yes, okay, so mute yourself and I'll call you.
I'm not hearing what she said.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm gonna call you.
I'm sorry.
You're good, okay.
Can
Yeah,
everyone hear Shay?
Yes.
Okay, this agreement is an agreement, that is very similar to the agreement that was begun in 2019 between the city and the CDP board when Jim Jeffers was the city manager, and then I signed a similar agreement. I'm sure it was signed between 2019 and 2022. I signed the one in 2022, with Mario, Kividuris was the city manager. And, what the backstory to this is that in 2019, the CBB employees became city employees and a city tourism department was created. And essentially this agreement allows our employees to receive city benefits, that they are city employees, and there's Article 5 of its employment agreement says that the ultimate hiring and firing of the CDB director is up to the discretion of the city manager. And that's not in line with, as Philip mentioned, our organizing documents, other governing documents that we have. But we have asked the city attorney, Gary Baker, to amend the agreement to be a 3-month agreement. So that gives us some time with continuation of benefits for our staff, and then allows us to determine who has the role in hiring and firing our CDB director. So that's what this is all about. I did not want to sign a document on behalf of the CDB without you all looking at it. But on the other hand, if we don't sign this document in this 3-month period, there's very likely that they will lose their benefits. So we've amended it from being a year-long contract to 3 months.
So in light of that, are there any questions for Shay about the employment agreement with the city of Nacogdoches? Shay, was there anything else to add?
No, I think this is definitely one of the documents that the ad hoc committee will be reviewing.
For sure.
The only comment that I have is we got them here for.
We do not need to take action on this document. I just wanted you all to review it and to have it in your hands.
The only comment that I have is I think I've been here for 2 of these documents now. And to my knowledge, the board has never acted on those. They were signed by the director and maybe the chair of the board without the board seeing it, and I'm uncomfortable with that.
We'll make sure that doesn't happen.
So, I'm sorry, so you do have a copy, just FYI for those who are confused about the document. It is in your binders under the city contract tab. So that way you do have a copy of it and you do see it. And this is the one that Shay signed in 2022. And again, to my knowledge, the only difference between this one and the one that we will be signing is just the time frame.
Yeah.
Correct, Shay?
Yes.
And I guess the ad hoc committee will have exactly where the discrepancies are pointed out.
That,
Go ahead. Shay?
that's correct.
Okay. Yeah, so that would be part of the ad hoc committee, which we'll be talking in a second about, to look over this document and figure out, you know, the ins and outs of it and make sure it aligns with everything else. There's
There's a big likelihood that my phone is going to die. I've had trouble with it all day, and I'm very sorry about that.
That's okay. Are you okay with us appointing, or with someone, is someone here, are you okay with someone here appointing the ad hoc committee?
Yes, we've already asked people to be on the ad hoc committee, so we've got that. As chair, I asked Larry, Philip, and Taylor to serve on that committee.
So we, just for clarification, so everybody knows, we don't have to have any sort of action done on the employment agreement. It was just a discussion to let everybody know about it, and that it is something that we will be looking at, and that's why we changed it from a year contract to a 3-month contract. So that way it gives the ad hoc committee time to look at it, and then when that 3 months is up and lapses, then we can reevaluate it.
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay. So any other comments or questions about that employment agreement before we move on? Okay. So moving on to the next item on the agenda, which is the budget priorities discussion with Ashley.
Okay, so, does everybody have a copy of the budget? If you don't, raise your hand. I'll pass it your way. Shelby, was it in the book? It is, okay. Like the most recent, actually,
The 9:30, you have this one? Hold on, just sent today.
yeah, Carol just sent that to me today, actually, so never mind. Okay, let
So
me,
then, no.
let me pass this down, sorry.
This one's been updated with the actual column up through the end of the year?
They have them, one bag, I don't know if you
Or we
do.
have to-
I know, I know.
Okay, so, again, we are not taking, well, I guess I can't say that. You're not expected to take action today. This is mainly just getting you all updated, and I wanted y'all to have a chance to look over the budget. Matt, I'm so sorry, I need to email this to you. Hold on, let me forward it to you. But mainly, like Cheryl stated, we got more income this year than we had originally expected. So over the summer, the finance director gave us a projection. It was in the 500,000s. We got a reviewed projection based on the increase in hotel occupancy tax that we've received. And so our now proposed budget from the finance director's office is $614,750. So that means we have some wiggle room on some of our categories. And mainly what, as interim director and as an employee of the CVB for several years now, my personal priorities are education for the staff. We are going to be hiring a new person as well. So I think it's extremely important that we all get up to date on the current tourism trends. We are the tourism experts in Nacogdoches, and the best way to retain that is by going to conferences like TACVB and the TTA conference. In the past, actually, the entire time that I've worked here since 2019, we've never gone to TTA. I highly believe that we should go to it. This year it was in El Paso, so that was a little bit of a stretch. But if it comes closer, within a 5-hour drive time, I really think we need to go there. So Cheryl and I did make those adjustments, but we were still being conservative because we don't want to throw.
I didn't really make the adjustments.
You didn't?
here.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Well, Cheryl and I plan to do that.
Well, we really can't do anything till we know what the payroll is going to be and
Yeah.
set a number for the room tax. I just think we can go with what we've got here until such time, but giving her the okay to increase education in case something does come up the next 2 or 3 months might be.
Right,
Appropriate.
like in January, we have the TACVB Winter Conference. Typically, we only budget for us to go to one conference, and that's the summer conference. But you cannot earn education credits at the summer conferences anymore, so I really need to go to the winter conference to complete my destination marketing specialist certification. So that's one of the things. So basically, I guess we're just looking for your blessing for us to be able to do that, knowing that we have extra money, which is rare.
Where does the extra money show on here?
So actually, it's in the financials.
If you look at the bottom
It's at
of
the
your
bottom.
actual column, that 264,000 is what we had left over this year.
Okay.
If you notice, the budgets are always zero.
Yeah.
Your income manage your expenses, but we had 264,000 extra from that on that actual column.
And that's something that we'll need to talk about eventually too, about what to do with that money. But that is kind of why I believe we're gonna need a special session for that. It's just, I mean, obviously we should put some of that away for safekeeping. But we could do capital improvements. We could do, we could look into wayfinding. Shelby and I have even dreamed of having a CVB car, so we could give tours to people in town, important people, VIP tours and things like that. So anyways, I don't want to spend money that isn't technically mine. So I just want to have you all look at that, knowing what you've learned from our financial statements, and just be prepared for a special budget meeting in the coming months.
I think that's very important.
Thank you.
And that you all are educated on how to lead us the direction we need to go to fulfill our objectives.
Yes, I completely agree. Especially because tourism professionals are hard to come by. If we hire a creative content director, I would be willing to bet that it's going to end up being someone local. I mean, it's going to be open to people out in the other cities, but it's going to, the type of pay that it will likely have, I don't know if it'll be enough to attract someone from out of town. So that's where we have to invest in who we have here. And so that's another reason that education is extremely important. Does anybody have any questions or comments about budget priorities? Anything that you'd like to see that we haven't mentioned?
What about like roofs and stuff? I know people were mentioning your roofs and your AC units and stuff like that.
What was the first thing you said?
The roof.
Roast, yes, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of building improvements and, so,
I'd like to see new, CVB welcome back coach signs. Yeah, those are pretty outdated.
actually, Chris and I are working on that on the billboards, but I would like to see more permanent structures
Yes.
eventually. And I personally believe our wayfinding signs need to be updated,
Yeah.
because right now they're like pink, which I think is kind of weird. But those are a major investment, those cost a lot more money
Yeah.
than people realize, so,
Millions.
yeah. I don't know about the numbers, but a lot.
A
Can I
lot.
throw something out there? It's- I get the car, but we were kind of talking about maybe like having a little bus. Where like people like Eaton come in, they bring multiple people. So wouldn't a small shuttle bus be more appropriate so you could take all of them?
That would be amazing, especially because we could use tours as a moneymaker.
Yeah.
We
Like
looked
we,
at vans, like the Dodge bigger vans.
Yeah.
That were like 12, 15 seater.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that we just looked at as.
but again, these are big dreams. We
Yeah,
don't,
sure.
we can't just go through that without y'all, fully on board. So, anyway, it's just when we come up on the budget, we can prioritize, what we think is most important and least important. And then, we can also do feasibility studies on things like, would a van actually be profitable and a good investment for us to have?
I want to talk to other cities, and see how
Yeah.
it works for them.
Our city doesn't purchase very many. They do have some vehicles, but they do a lot of things like that as a lease. You just lease the days that you need it, because unless you're using it every day, it's hard to justify the vehicle, especially one that big.
I would say that you've got a vehicle you want to wrap.
Yes, we used to have a.
So at least probably.
Or have something like the alumni association, they donated their van.
Yeah, and you know, one thing we could do is talk to maybe Tipton Ford or something like that, see if they'd be willing to give us a special rate or some sort of sponsorship or something like that, so. But yeah, that's one of those things where you're like, is that really a necessity or do we just really want that type thing, but. But yes.
Okay.
I want to say one thing about the buildings. I've raised this before. This building does not belong to the CBD, this building belongs to the city. And I'm still unclear on why the CBD is responsible for that group of the building that belongs to the city.
Yeah, and that's something that we need to review.
The only other parallel in the city that I know of is, Access Development Corporation.
Yeah.
Okay.
They rent or they don't, they get that office space for free.
And do they have to pay for upkeep on that office space? Sure.
Not that
Are you sure they don't pay a lease? Ben?
I'm not 100% sure, but
I
they
think
didn't when
they
I
do.
was there.
I think they pay a lease, but.
Okay.
Do they pay for?
No, they do not.
Maintenance on that
They pay
office
rent.
space?
We could pay rent here if somebody proposed it to the city.
So.
That has never
yes.
been brought up.
So that's, Cheryl and I have talked about this. We could look into possibly leasing this building from the city where we pay a flat rate every month and then the upkeep would be left up to the city. But-
And I think the question would be, what would be the most cost effective way to do that? And
I don't know if, I don't know what the new city manager is gonna want, he starts next week. So this is something that we're gonna have to approach slightly. I don't know if they would want to take on the building. I mean, like we just said, there's so many things that need to be
it's
done.
their building. So whether they want.
But
to
we are
take it on
operating out of
or
it, and we are
not.
making money by operating out of it.
I think this is something that we can move on to that ad hoc committee. This is something that they can look at as well. Right,
That's one of the contracts.
Yeah.
They did in there that we're supposed to set aside at least 5,000.
no, I'm just saying, like, this goes along with appointing the ad hoc
I actually
committee.
have to say.
Yeah, I mean, like, that just rolls into that conversation.
Contracts that we're gonna look at.
Yeah, we're not stopping talking about it. We're just saying that we're just moving it into that conversation, because
But I
that goes
think it's-
right along with it.
It's definitely a good issue.
Yeah.
For the ad hoc committee to look at.
I agree.
And I mean, I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, I agree as well.
Well, we need to find out why that wasn't the agreement in the first place.
Yeah,
Cause weren't the air conditioners, wasn't there like a replacement air conditioner?
Yeah, we
2
paid for
years ago?
this. Mhm.
And we paid to have this was flooded
Yeah,
3 times in the same year, twice in the same year.
there's quite a few things that we paid for out of pocket.
How was it flooded? Was it from a rain event or did a bigger pipe or
It
something?
took a long time. Her engineer husband, we had to find this little bitty hole in the roof. And past that. All the rains, it was, it was a foot of water in here. Twice.
But they could, it wasn't obvious.
It wasn't obvious.
It was coming in weird places.
Eventually roof.
Yeah.
Malfunction. It's where it is.
so if there's no more discussion about budget priorities, that's why I'm moving into the next point on the agenda is the appointing of the ad hoc committee to look at the CBB structure. So like I was saying, this goes right along with what the ad hoc committee, which Shay has already mentioned, is Taylor, Larry, and Phil. She had already discussed that with those individuals forming the ad hoc committee and looking at the structure of the CBD, which includes the contracts, which includes whose responsibility is whose when it comes to building maintenance and et cetera. So that'll be on them to look at all of those documents and give us a good recommendation on what to do moving forward.
Do y'all have copies of the CBP agreement? I think-
There is a binder.
Okay.
City council.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
The 2 agreements we're talking about that we have in the city are in your binder.
This is the
City
one that
council.
says 3 months. This is just-
Oh, so that's the updated one.
Yeah,
Okay.
but nothing is different except for that.
Yeah. So if you want a copy of the updated one that just says 3 years, or 3 years, 3 months, my bad,
Not
3 months instead of a year.
Well, the charter, I assume that's one of the documents they're gonna be looking at.
Yeah,
The way the charter
bylaws.
No, the city charter has a whole section. Bylaws is something that we have as a 501(c)(3), 501(c)(6), we're 6. But the city charter has several paragraphs of CBB.
Okay,
Like it specifically mentions.
so there's a
using-
4th document.
Yes, there
City
is.
ordinances, you mean. City ordinances.
Well, yes. It's that the ordinances as they're passed are put into the charter. So it's all meshed into one thing online. Uh-huh. It's online.
So we appreciate you guys, if you are officially appointed, is that official?
Yeah, that is the official appointment.
Nice job.
Yeah, Taylor, Larry, and Phil, appreciate you guys for agreeing to do that. Like I said, Shay already asked those individuals to serve. So that is the appointment of the ad hoc committee. I don't think we have to vote on that.
I don't think so.
No,
This is supported by
It's
the
an
chair.
appointed by the chair.
Is the committee gonna do this all in circle?
That's assuming that's up to the committee, how they want to tackle it.
But
As
do
a
we
group.
have a priority or is that they also are gonna determine the priority? The structure of that.
I would assume the priority is gonna be probably because of time purposes is the contract, and then from there would be the rest. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They need to all be done at the same time. There's too much conflicts in those. And the city charter will take city council to do
Yeah,
that.
so I just wonder on a time frame.
I'm not aware of a time frame.
Less than 3 months.
So that's what I'm saying, like, I don't know, I didn't know if they were asking if there was a specific timeline, like, for our next meeting.
No, just, so it's gotta be done in 3 months because.
Because of the contract, yes. And that's why we asked for a 3-month and not another year. So that we could get it done.
And a lot of these conversations are dependent on what the new city manager's feelings are.
Yes.
Because in our current agreement, everything comes down to the city manager. So if his feelings are that the CBB should not be a part of the city, then that affects things quite a bit. So he starts next week and I'm going to be talking to him as soon as possible.
And that's why that's problematic, because the last city manager, before I even went to my first CCB board meeting, I got a phone call from him telling me that he wanted the CCB to be part of the city. And I'm like, I haven't even been to a board meeting yet, so no, I can't make any promises to you about what I think, because I don't know what I think. I'm contemplating on it.
And that is why we had Marty Prince come here and teach you all about CBD structures. There's so much minutia that we can't cover in a 1 hour meeting. And that's what the board retreat was for, was to teach you all about the different kinds of CBD structures, what work best. And just to get familiar with the history of the CBB, we were formed in 1996 as we separated from the Chamber of Commerce. If you talk to the founders of the CBB, so Rick Still, Diana Walker, I can't remember all the names right now, but there was an intention for the way that we are set up. And, the previous city manager, I think in his prior city or former city, the CBB was a part of their city, and that worked well for them, and that's great. Sherry worked for, she works for them again now, but the city of Conroe, and they are a part of the city, and that works well for them, the CBB does. But that's not how it is in Nacogdoches, and the prior city manager wanted it to be that way, and just complete honesty here, I was against it as the creative content director, and I think that ruffled some feathers. But it is my belief that we remain independent, just based on what I know from talking to people at TACBB, by doing exploration on my own. But again, you are the board. I can't make that decision. So I encourage you all strongly to do homework and research as best as you can, and just kind of try to understand our structure as best as possible. Our agreement, as Shay mentioned, has been in place since 2017, and it's never been an issue until last year.
So let me ask you a question. Coming from Mojave in Arizona, the city manager was at all of our meetings every month. And there was an open door plus 3 city council people. They were always at our meetings because they wanted a transparent view. And so it really worked well because we had 11 casinos across the river. So we had to have a lot of transparency going on from where our money was coming from the hotels as well. And the first way we invited the new city manager who came from Sedona, he came to a meeting and he kind of had his 3 months into the new position. He said, this is what I'm looking for from this organization. And then we, of course, went back and reviewed what we thought we could do to meet those terms. And then that's how we stayed as a separate entity. But they wanted to combine as well, because once we made a lot of money, they wanted to incorporate the money.
And just so you know, the city manager and the city council members have always been invited. They're included every month on my invitation. I copy city council. They get a copy of our reports. There's complete transparency. But yeah, hopefully this next city manager will take a concerted interest in being with the CBB and working with us in the format that we have worked for so many years, which has been successful. We've shown ourselves over and over again.
Are we going to give them the invitation to come to a meeting and meet all of us, or kind of?
Absolutely, yeah. And Shelby and I have been working on this for a while, but we're planning to do a FAM tour, and you all will be invited to that. But basically, that's where we give a tour of the historic sites in Nacogdoches and talk about what it is we do, how we work with other organizations, things like that.
With the
Yes, yes.
Do we know what structure he's coming from?
So he's from Leander, and I believe the Leander one is a Chamber of Commerce. So that's a totally different style. And then he also worked in Galveston, and I'm almost 100% 100% sure that Galveston is separate like we are.
And does he know this is coming to him? His decision to make that?
I'm sure he has an inkling. He's the current interim city manager has said many times that he talks to him almost daily.
Give him a little bit of time. He's going to be
He's going to be
drinking from
overwhelmed.
a fire hose.
And it's
for
not
a
just,
while.
it's not just our department.
Yeah, he's gonna have everybody.
Yeah, everything. It's gonna be.
Go look at the list of vacant positions in the city.
Yes.
Okay. I gotta scoot in a few minutes and,
Yeah, so.
but I know for the same reason.
Yeah.
Okay, so, moving on to, the next line item in the agenda, staff recommendation on Christmas lights.
Okay, I don't know if I can do this, but I can't really give a recommendation. I have asked for bids and I only got one bid, so I can't, for things that cost over, is it $3,000 or $5,000? Do you
I
remember?
thought it was 35.
Or 3,500. For things that cost more than that, we, as city employees, we have to get bids, or at least 3 bids, and I've only received one so far, and it's for $11,000 to do the Christmas lights on the CBB. A lot of them are out and dull, and they just look bad, and so we'd really like to change them out for the holiday season, especially because this year we're adding to the Christmas festival. But again, since I only have one bid, I can't give you a recommendation right now. So hopefully, I don't know if I can do that over email because we're on a time crunch, and I don't know if this can wait till the next board meeting. But I'll keep you all updated over
How many
email.
bids did you request?
4.
Yeah.
So people don't want to make money.
So do we have to have multiple bids?
Yes, yeah, we have to get at least 3 since it's gonna
Even if
cost.
nobody else
What if we
comes
don't?
forward.
What if nobody?
There's
Yeah,
rules
one.
for that. I'm
Probably
not
a
sure.
date, like-
I'll look into the rules for that. I'm new at this. But I'll look into the rules. I guess, yeah, if I solicit the bid and they don't come back with
I mean,
one,
they get engineering stuff like that all the
I did my
time, so.
homework.
Did you, put a deadline on the bids?
Yes. I asked them to get back to me by yesterday.
Should we reach out to anybody in Lufkin or we just snap those things?
Just acquisitions. Well, one was Alto. That was a contact that Shay gave me.
Well, we guess look into, whether or not you have to get
Yeah.
actually 3 physical bids, or the fact that you
We
went out
might,
there and.
yeah, we
and
might
asked.
be able to do a vote over email too.
And
Well,
No.
do you want to take a vote now, get a recommendation for an amount and say not to exceed or something like that while you have everybody here to vote? And then,
That's not a bad idea.
because
okay.
$11,000 was not budgeted, is what I'm asking.
That's the main issue. But as you know, we all have the excess of money. So is there an amount that somebody would like to make a motion for me to not exceed? Or do you not have enough
This may
information?
be speaking out of ignorance, but 11,000 seems very high.
That's what I thought too.
So with this
Christmas
specific
lights
bid, there
it's-
are
it's
some,
ridiculous.
So
So
my
reasons,
parents have a guy who does it yearly in Lufkin, it's
Yeah.
insured and things like that, and
They
it's
were
the same
supposed to
big
be,
house.
but they're all
It's
falling
nowhere
down.
near us.
I mean, it is the entire, like,
They're providing the lights also.
yeah, they're taking down the old
I was
ones.
gonna say they're
I
fixing.
think that's a lot of work.
I don't know if it's
It's still 11,000.
but also there are some, like with Main Street, had a same bid with this company. And there are some things on our bid that could possibly be on Main Street's bid. So it's not exactly $11,000. They have a meeting at some point to.
I asked him and he said that the trees on the corners were ours.
So I think Tori kind of.
Sure they're not city trees.
So it's not just the building, it's the trees as well.
Yeah, all of the landscaping. and everything.
This is another matter of this is not our building, but we're paying for it.
So
So,
we do know everything is triple price these days, so.
yeah.
Maybe you'll get something.
Make a motion not to exceed $12,000.
When does it have?
We have a motion on the table. Larry motion not to exceed $12,000. We have a second. All those in favor, say aye. All those opposed, say nay. Ayes have it, so not to exceed $12,000. We're getting bids for lights, and I guess you will get back to us on that.
I will,
Okay.
Could I ask you a question? When do we need to have the lights up and running?
as soon as possible, but, I would preferably like it before, Thanksgiving weekend, because that's Small Business Saturday and Mossel Fest.
That's the month away.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to staff reports, and I am going to officially give over the reins to. Yep, okay.
Okay, I'm going to blow through my report and then leave as well, because I have to.
She'll be at the same place I am.
I have to go
Yeah.
to the Texas Downtown Conference,
Yeah.
which is the first thing on my report. Okay, So first, my director report. So like I said, we are hosting we aren't hosting, we are welcoming the Texas Downtown Conference to Nacogdoches this week. Nacogdoches Main Street is hosting that. They're the ones who submitted that bid and received it, but we're helping everywhere we can because we're just in the conference business. But they've been wonderful to work with. They're really appreciative of everything that we've done. They're really excited because Nacogdoches is unique that we actually have a convention center downtown. So pretty much everything they're doing is within walking distance at the Fredonia Hotel. So over the next few days from today until Friday, you'll be seeing a lot of people dressed nicely walking downtown. So if you see them, just give them a warm welcome and let them know about all the amazing things they're up to do in Nacogdoches. In just a few minutes, I'm going to be giving them all a welcome address at the Fredonia Brewery. So I'm excited about that, and I get to tell them all my favorite things. I'm also attending as many sessions as I possibly can. They were really kind to give me free entry to the conference, so I'm going to take advantage of that. And then I'm going to the gala tomorrow night where they'll give out some awards. And the Old Town Breakdown is actually up for an award for best promotion or best event. And I think they have a really good shot. So just letting y'all know about that.
You may have said how many are there?
It's about 300. Yeah, they filled up the Fredonia Hotel and they spilled out over into Hampton and Holiday and what have you. This Friday, I wanted to let you all know about the old university building is having a ribbon cutting. This is really important. They've done a complete renovation and added an elevator. And so I'm going to also be giving a little bit of a speech there just to talk about the importance of historic structures and tourism. So that's at 10 a.m. on Friday, October 27th. They're going to have a couple historic sort of reenactors, so that'll be fun too. Let's see. Oh yeah, so the Christmas parade. If you haven't seen by now, then there's a different parade route this year, and that's due to some construction in the area. And because of that, the route is going to go down and around Festival Park. So that's actually going to be pulling a lot of people down to Festival Park. And so the United Way is doing the parade as usual, but I wanted to help pull people to Festival Park, as I mentioned. So we are sponsoring a live music act for that. It's going to be called Party in the Park. And that is happening December 2nd after the parade. We haven't announced the Party in the Park aspect of it because we haven't selected the music act, but I'm days away from doing that. I've been reviewing them every day. So we're excited, and there's going the United Way is going to be in charge of vendors and food trucks. But we're really hoping that this kind of restores the festival aspect of it. Because in the past years, it's kind of just dwindled down to the parade, and I'd really like it to be a Nine Bikes Festival again.
I'm assuming this is family.
Yes, yeah, family. Yeah, family friendly. Let's see, we nominated Rick Still for the Stone Fort Museum Cum Concilio Club Heritage Preservation Award. I was really not sure if I would get that right. He is responsible for the majority of the exhibits here at the CVB, and he was also one of the founding members of the CVB. And so when we saw the nomination form come out, we figured he was a slam dunk and he was selected. And so he's going to be honored on Wednesday, November 29th at the Cole Arts Center. And I'll be, again, speaking there to his accomplishments and his contributions to the CVB. But I just wanted to let you all know about that because there will probably be a little bit of press about it, which will include the CVB. Let's see. As you probably all inferred about all the budget or agenda items, I've been doing continuous research on CVB structures, and I'm speaking to other CVBs, finding out what works best for them. I've also been in talks with the CEO of the Texas Lodging and Hotel Association, Scott Joslove, to find out what exactly our rights are to our structure and things like that. And he's helping me work through some things. So I'll be sharing that information with the ad hoc committee. Okay, real quick, my marketing report. We completed our switch to Emma newsletter. If you haven't received one from me, send me a quick email and let me know so I can add you to our list. I rejoined the Northeast Texas Tourism Commission, it includes Longview, Tyler, Palestine, all of the northeast cities. I just felt it was important for us to at least have a presence in their guide and that the membership comes with that. And then we will have a featured post with American Road Magazine next week to promote the Nine Flags Parade and Festival. And I think that's all I have. Any questions for me?
Actually, I have to, but am I supposed to show up in the morning? I'm not heard anything.
Yes, I sent you an email. Did you get it?
I did not
No,
see it.
okay. The one that you're supposed to be talking to, her email is just not working.
Yeah.
So I sent an email to you and I wanted y'all to know that you are supposed to be there.
Oh, what are we supposed to do?
Oh, you didn't put them
Oh,
tomorrow
just
morning?
business casual. Yeah. Shelby, do you mind writing down the minutes for the rest of the meeting? Just have to talk about y'all's reports. And that's my calendar reminder. I gotta go. Does anybody have any questions for me? Okay, thank you all. I'm so sorry I have to run, but it's for an important reason. And thank you all for your help.
Okay, it's my turn.
So, yeah.
Well, we had Napkin Night last Saturday. We did Halloween Town with Zion Hill and Main Street sponsored it. It was a little bit of a flop. Only 6 people came and then they didn't even stay for the entire movie, but that's okay. I enjoyed the movie. Yeah, I think it was, even though a lot of people didn't come, it was still really good for Veronica to figure out the ticks that make this work, because she's wanting to do similar ideas. So I really felt like it was helpful for her. I thought it was fun either way. Snack Snack Friday is this Friday, the 27th. Casa del Bayou, Reeves, Strawley's, and White Farmhouse will be here. So come eat downtown if you would like. Like Ashley said, the Fredonia Hotel is completely booked for today, tomorrow, and Thursday and Friday. So that's awesome. There is the Native Plant Society of Texas coming into town November 8th and 9th. And then we also have a few upcoming conferences in February, the exact same weekend. One of them will be on SFA's campus, and then the other one will be at the Fredonia Hotel, which I'm guessing it'll bring about 800 people into Nacogdoches that weekend. So it'll be very busy.
What kind of conference?
So one of them is the Impact Conference on campus. That's college kids coming into town. I'm not really sure their full purpose, but it is a college kid focused group. And then the American Fisheries Society is coming also at the Fredonia. They still.
Which day is this?
That's a big deal. So that'll be February 22nd through the 24th. So it'll be at the end of it. So those are all the things that I know big of coming into town. And then the Christmas parade did change because of the ongoing construction. And then the homecoming parade had to change as well. And so will the Veterans Day parade. It will be the same as homecoming. The Veterans Day parade will be. So if you're wanting to attend that, just be aware that it's a little bit different, but it's not too different. I believe that is all.
We had a lot of increased foot traffic in September as opposed to August. Everything were picking up. We had a Next Up Friday on the 22nd of September. The big weekend was 23rd of September, which was Parents Weekend and the Art Fest downtown. And we counted 282 people that came in the visitor center that day. The Old Town, the Rig Down was another big weekend with 135 people. So we've had a total of about 1,200 walk-ins for September.
So your bigger weekend was parent family weekend. And
Much
not
bigger than the-
Centennial.
Yes, yes. That is, the Old Town Rig Town was so spread out and we didn't have that much traffic on that actually.
I would have thought Centennial would have, I guess that was such an SFA focused.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we know the Parents Weekend was huge downtown. Anyway, that's my report.
It's there. Do I have? We need a motion to adjourn.
I had something.
Sorry.
I didn't notice it until after we'd already approved the minutes, but don't check up at the top. It says August 22nd. I think those were the minutes from like September 26th or something, right? I was looking at the body, I was looking at the top,
Oh, yes.
so I think it's actually supposed to change
Change
the
the
date.
date at the top.
Yeah, that's the, I think that should have been September 26th.
Was that reply? It was a mistake.
It's-
A change.
Let's make it a correct date on the minutes.
We don't have to vote on that. That it? We did. Motion to, yeah, we adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
We are adjourned.
All in favor?
Item candy.
Yeah, it wasn't.